We back with another episode of All Black Men Need Therapy. My name is Chief.
And I'm Bell.
My name is Prentice.
We about to get this show on the road, y'all. Before we begin, we're going to do the same thing we've been doing every week and acknowledging our lapses in episode releases. Releases. We apologize. We sorry. We're going to do better. We promise. We got some good stuff in the works, and that's going to require us to be much more consistent in treating y'all weekly as we promised. So it's coming.
But isn't it interesting though? I just thought about this. Like, think about it, right? Like, yeah, we need to be more consistent, y'all. We understand that, and it's duly noted. Trust me, we're working on it. But it's crazy, man. Think about it, right? Think about the times when we've missed a week or so, and then we record, right? More often than not, it's because something's heavy on one of our spirits, and we're like, yo, we got to talk. I got to record this. And then I feel like, man, it's the same thing with people with therapy, where it's like, they're like, ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm good. But then when something tragic happens or something happens, like, I need to go see somebody, right? Or it becomes recommended to see somebody, but it's like, it should be, it's like brushing your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just part of your routine. It's just part of your daily upkeep, weekly upkeep, monthly upkeep, whatever it is. So I guess I'm just bringing the human element to it, people, where, yeah, sometimes when we have dry spells, when we get back on here to talk to y'all, it's really to talk to us, right? And
hell yeah, like, don't
and help ourselves. Y'all just get to listen, you know. So FYI, that's all. But I'm happy to be back, man. I'm happy to be back.
Nah, for sure. We do be like, talking to y'all, but we
this ain't for y'all. We're gonna be honest with y'all. We love y'all for tuning in. We love y'all for listening, but this ain't for y'all, man.
Right.
We glad you can get something out of it, but
we
really be like, yo, we need to get on the phone. Or one of us would be like, yo, I need to get on the phone, man. We need to pick this back up, man. I got some shit I gotta get out.
Right.
It's verbatim. Like, that's exactly how
Right. Nevertheless, P, you first, man. Check in. What's going on, B?
Oh man, well shit. Since the last time, man, I got engaged. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't talk about that the last episode. I think we did. No,
I don't know.
We have not.
That's how long it's been.
I don't know, man.
My man is engaged right now.
Yeah, man. So,
shout out to my man P making big man moves. You know what I'm saying?
Out here celebrating, pat myself on the back. She got the exact ring that she wanted. Word. You know what I'm saying? So, things are good, man. We we healthy. Everybody working. Everybody caught COVID in the house. So we was down for like 3.5 weeks.
You caught that monkey too, P?
Man, everybody caught it, bro. I was I caught it.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. After being vaccinated. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it out there. I'm not vaccinated, and by the grace of God, I've been good, cuz.
Right, yeah, man. Stay clear, man. Me. Yeah, but everything's good, but everybody's healthy. Looking forward to Christmas, man. And there's so much that since we haven't been on, there's so much that's transpired internally that I feel like I got a shitload of shit to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So let me just say, I'm good right now. I'm better than I was our last episode, because during that last episode, I remember there were things that I did not want to talk about that I'm willing to talk about now. So that's progress. So I'm good.
That's what's up. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. Yeah, you're right, Prentice. Now, when you just referenced the last episode, I remember exactly which one it was now. And that was a while ago. And yeah, I'm good, man. A lot of great things, great things happening my way, man. A lot of great things happening. And like, we just got back, Chief and I, our man just turned 40. So we went out to Miami to celebrate, man. And for me, Chief, I believe you too, but for me, that was the first time I've been back to Miami with the fellas. Well, really, period, for the most part. I was there for a company trip, but since my junior year in college, you know what I'm saying? It was a whole different experience this time around, man. Like, a whole different experience. We didn't even go to South Beach. Like, literally, we didn't even go there. So we had a real good time, man. And we're going to talk about this more in the episode today, but we felt it was necessary for us to celebrate life, you know, and his birthday was the first one that came up once we started really making a push for it. So the plan is to keep the party going, literally and figuratively, you know, in terms of how we celebrate our life, because we don't do it enough. And we spoke about that on another episode. I don't think it was a topic, but we kind of touched on it. And we're going to talk more about that today. But yeah, I'm good, man. Like, I ain't gonna front. I thought I had COVID. I had a couple weeks ago. I was in Orlando for work, and I got back, man, and I was just like I wanted it to be COVID because the cold was so bad. I'm like, just give me some clarity on, let me know what it is. Like, all right, this is bad because it's COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, this ain't the common cold. This ain't the common cold circa 2019, because this the common cold post COVID, because this shit is serious. Almost like it was competing for the light. Like, it's like I niggas talk about COVID. Let me show you what I got. You know, so,
right.
Man, I took 3 COVID tests. It was all negative, because I was like, man. And the crazy thing is, I didn't go into work because I didn't want to get my team exposed to my cold, and I didn't go to work. Come to find out, my whole office is now in quarantine because there was some exposure. So I didn't go to protect them, and it turns out me not going was protecting me. You know?
Right. Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, man. So it's just this COVID shit's really ratcheted back up, man. My bad. I know I just took a long time, but
no, it's all good.
What's good with you, Chief?
I'm good, man. I'm still a little high from going on the weekend, and with the guys, it's always a good time. Hella laughs. Like, yo, it's literally, if we spent, I don't know, let's just say 48 hours in Miami, we spent 20 of them just giggling, laughing the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Ain't that the best shit, man? When you get up with your people and y'all get to just laugh and not worry, and then realize hours have gone by and all y'all have done is laugh hysterically with each other. It was
to the point where we were supposed to, like, a lot of them were supposed to leave on Sunday, just like a one-day thing, go in, have a good night, and be out. Cats like, nah, we're gonna leave. Just wait till Monday. We're going to leave on Monday. You know what I'm saying? So cats changed their flights and whatnot, and it was real dope. But my kids are healthy. Holidays approaching, man. I'm feeling good. I'm still heavy in this level up phase, man. Like, I'm about to sit down and really iron some and map some plans out, man. I really think just talking to my guys and being around my guys, like, there's just way too much talent and potential and genius within the crew for us to not be super at whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us are relatively great at what we do, but it's just like, there should be some super in this forum somewhere. You know what I'm saying? There's gotta be. So we some good things are rolling our way, man, and we just want to keep that train moving, man, and just continue to level up in all phases, though. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
But isn't that the beauty, though, of accountability, man? With, like, people that's like-minded. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having this conversation today, and I won't go into too much detail, but I was having a conversation about a situation that I'm dealing with, and what's happening is everybody's leveling up. You know what I'm saying? And when everybody levels up, who's not with the program, they get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, you got a decision to make. I literally had this conversation today. Like, you got a decision to make. You part of this crew, you part of this team, you part of this, whatever it is, organization. You make a conscious decision to have standards and everybody level up to those standards. When one doesn't, you then have to make a choice, because if you don't, or make a decision, right? Because if you don't make a decision about that person, right, those standards are just suggestions. You see what I'm saying? And now it's like, oh, so those are just suggestions. So that means we can do whatever we want. Nah, this is the standard of the crew, right? We got to level up. Here's how we gonna move. Here's how we gonna roll. And if you don't want to do that, now as a crew, we got a decision to make. Like, look, man, we just not on the same path no more. Right. I love you, right? Like, I respect you, but I'm moving this direction. You know, you're more than willing to come. I mean, you're more than welcome to come, but you got to be willing. You know, and that's the tough conversation. Dude, man, we man, it's been so long, man. man, I could talk about 15 episodes right now, man. All the stuff
that's what I'm saying
coming to my mind right now. So anyway, I'll do my best to stay on task. That's why we got to just do this more, man. We got to make sure it's weekly going forward, man.
For sure. So the topic at hand today, our people, is how do we even decide how we want to label it, fellas?
I think Bill had it well.
Yeah, it's when
we'll give them context.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can give some context. So I'm gonna start at Prentice, but then I want you to tell your story, you know.
All good.
So we as a collective, we got some exciting news last week. Yeah, last week.
Well, shit, today. Last week, but like today was
both. Like, last week it was, that's a good point. Last week was great news about today. And it was exciting. And I saw it, it came through, I saw it, Chief saw it, Prentice obviously saw it. And then Prentice, tell your story, and then I'll finish it.
All right, y'all. So this is what happened. Y'all have been tuning in and listen to our journeys, and I'm sure by now y'all got a good gist of our personalities, just how we roll, man. So we got this great news last week about the podcast. More info coming soon. But we got this great news, right? So I get the news, and me personally, I've been in a space lately where I needed this news. And I needed some good news to come from a space of like something I felt I generated,
right,
in comparison to the rest of my home. So with this being our podcast, in my home, I take this is my shit in our household, the Power household, like it is in yours. So we got some great news, and I felt like I needed this news because lately, things have been moving, going very, very well, but I'm the type where I always need to be accomplishing something that has to do with my art. Like being a good father isn't enough. Learning how to be a good fiance, future husband isn't enough. I need some constant nourishment from my art or something that I'm doing individually coming in. So this served as that for me. So I got on the phone as soon as I seen the information, the news, and I called Chief, and he's like, hello? And I'm like, hey, you hype? Because I'm hype about the news. I'm like, yo, you hype? He like, man, we ain't signed no papers yet. And I'm like, wait, what? He said, yeah, it's cool, but we ain't signed no papers. I'm like, bro, did you see the email? It's a go. Like the response in the email let us know that this shit is a go. It's a green light. And I'm like, this is a go. And he's like, yeah, I guess you. And I'm like, nigga, you know what? I don't even like your energy right now, but I'm about to get off the phone with you because you sound, I don't know what the fuck wrong with you, but you're not hype enough for me. Verbatim what I told him. And I was like, matter of fact, I'm going to hang up on you right now and give you 10 minutes to get your shit and your emotions together. And I'm going to call Bell because I need some different feelings or some shit. So I hung up on that nigga. I called Bell. I said, hey, Bell, you ain't hype? He like, oh, yeah, I just saw the text. And then his wife hopped in like, nah, Prentice, nah. He saw the text message and he trying to be all cool because he's one of those people where until something is absolutely finalized, he don't like to get hyped because he don't want to jeopardize.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a crazy thing because we haven't talked about this since it happened. I was like, you know what? I'm exactly the same way because I really am. And I said, fuck that shit on the phone to him. I said, but no, fuck that shit. We about to be hyped. They don't know this is good news, but like this is major. And the news really is major. And so we got off the phone, and then after that, I'm gonna throw it back to you, Bill. Bill called us back. He was like, "There's something I want to bring up."
Yeah. So everything Prentice said is 1,000,000% accurate, and it just happened to be that I was driving, so I had the phone on speaker. So my wife overheard the conversation, which gave him more. She literally is like, "Let me just give you some context, Prentice." Right? Like
right.
That's exactly what he just said is exactly what she said, and again. Like Prentice, and what he didn't say is he's like, I'm about to hang up on you too, right? Like,
oh yeah, I did.
Because my response was almost identical to Chief's. And again, like in the moment, yeah, it's exciting in the moment, but I'm still not. Me as a person, it takes me longer time to process emotion, especially good emotion, right? So I'm like, all right, what's this? It's good. It's a good indicator. It's a good lead indicator, but we not crossed the finish line. That was kind of my mentality. And then I got home, and then the wife and I just talking, and she's like, and this is where we are with the episode. She's like, you and Chief, y'all have a trauma response to good news, you know? And that shit kind of hit me like a ton of, like so much so I think I FaceTimed y'all immediately after.
You did.
You know because I'm like, yo, we do. We have a trauma response to good news because, and I'm sure we can get a psychologist on here to talk to us more about where it comes from. But if I had to guess, it comes from a place, and this is my opinion, y'all. It comes from and I'll speak for myself. It comes from a place of not having and not getting too excited of the potential to have to just be disappointed and be back where you started.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for me, I'm like, okay, this is good, but you'll know when it's really good because I'll be celebrating. And then it's like, and another thing too, fellas, and I just thought about this as I'm speaking. Yo, there's some psychological shit with this too, man. The whole crabs in the barrel situation. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and I was talking to one of my my old leaders during the George Floyd thing, and he was just genuinely trying to understand Black culture a little bit more. And like for me, I don't really be bragging or doing none of that stuff about what I got going on, regardless of what. In fact, I'm probably definitely in work, I'm way more humble than people would like me to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm way more humble than people would like me to be. But for me, I'm like, nah, let me do my thing over here. Let it bubble. However it goes, however it go. I don't need no extra light being shined on it because I don't want nobody to take that from me. I don't want to jeopardize it. Again, these are all things I tell myself. Not they may all be false, but it doesn't matter if it's true or not because it's true to me. You see what I'm saying? So that's where a lot of that comes from for me. So we just got to talking, and then that just spiraled to like, yo, we need to make an episode about this because we know we're not the only ones that have trauma responses to good things happening in their life. And I mean, and Chief, I'm gonna turn it to you in a second, but there's people who I gotta ask I think it's called success intolerance. That's what it's called, success intolerance. When people create this narrative in their mind that they shouldn't be unconsciously more successful than whatever they currently are. Man. So they sabotage shit. Yep. Unintentionally, they sabotage it, right? It's all subconscious, man, because you don't feel like you deserve it. You don't feel like you're worthy. All these things you create for yourself. And I don't have a problem with success intolerance. That's not my issue, but I'm saying this whole trauma response can also show up like that. That's what I'm saying.
No, so I'm listening to you and I feel a lot of the same sentiment. Like I just start to think about when was the last time I genuinely enjoyed or was celebratory in regards to a success of my own. And honestly speaking, the first thing that came to mind, P, is when Dawn called me and told me that they were selecting me for Versus and Flow. That's the last time I remember genuinely being like proud of myself in terms of an accomplishment or wanting to like celebrate the moment. I remember being happy, and like when she called, I was Mel. It was the day of Mel's wedding. I was getting in the limo to go to Mel's wedding, and she called. I stepped out, took the call, and was like, "Yo, you don't believe what just happened?" I was wild hype. But like going to LA, filming the show, going to premieres, it being on TV, none of that was like worthy of a celebration per se. Now, mind you, people at home were like, "Yo, we can't wait to." I had like a watch party at the bar around here. We can't wait to meet you. It's gonna be dope. And I'm there, and I'm just like, yeah, it's cool. Like, didn't really soak it all in. Like, had a whole party for myself, but still wasn't like allowing myself to really, like, it's an accomplishment. Like, how many people I mean, we know, but like that you can look through your phone and see are on national television that you can just call. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big deal. Yeah. But I didn't allow myself to embrace that. And I think one thing I know for you and I, Bill, maybe even you, Prentice, like we're a lot more willing and happy and ready to celebrate someone else. Yep. Like had you called me, P, with the news. By the way, people, this is like really big news too. Like when you hear about it, like I love when we hit them with the cliffhanger, yo. I think that's dope. Yeah. People are gonna be really intrigued about it, but it's like really, really big news.
It's like big news twofold. you know, like all the way around. But
yeah,
right. Yeah, so it's like really big news for us and the podcast. And you're right, we should have been more hype about it. We should have been, because it's a big damn deal when the people here are like, yo, really? But
yeah.
I mean, is that a testament to our like the word you use, humble? Is that a testament to our humility? Or
you know what?
Like,
I think oh, I know I've gone my whole career as a writer, as a poet, downplaying every single achievement I've accomplished, from being on tour with Jill Scott, New York City, Radio City Music Hall in New York, New Year's Eve, to Arsenio Hall, all that shit. Every single time I downplay. And what I learned from me was that the biggest thing about the story that we're telling them about what happened on the phone call, me calling you guys, is because after Bell hung up the phone, I told Sarai, I was like, you know what? It's crazy that all three of us are exactly like that, but I was the one who wasn't like that.
You made a conscious effort, though.
But well, this is the thing. I don't think it was a conscious effort, but I allowed myself to really be hyped in the moment.
Right.
You get what I don't. You said what?
I said, what you normally don't, you're saying though.
I normally don't, but I can identify what's been happening in my life that allowed me to do that. And I thought about it after you said something. And my life there's too many blessings in my life on a daily basis that I acknowledge on a daily basis. I'm over emotional about on a daily basis, where I'm learning how to be happy.
That's it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm letting go of the painful poems. I'm genuinely learning how to be happy, because I thought about it. And so the whole thing about anticipating disappointment, right? You spend that whole time until the moment is confirmed, wondering or stressing or giving yourself these emotions that aren't the healthiest emotions that you can have, right? But you can choose to be juiced as fuck. We're just worried about that disappointment at the end, but there's a lot of benefit, bud. And say you have to go 2 weeks without getting the final verdict, right? If we can learn to program ourselves to be happy for a 2-week stretch, even if it leads to disappointment, there's a benefit in that. You get what I'm saying? I feel like we're retraining ourselves to learn how to feel better. So I know I'm rambling, but I just have been giving myself a chance to be happy, which is why I was able to be happy on the phone with y'all.
Dude, I love that, Prentice, because you're right. Like, you may not have been intentional on that call, but you've been so intentional for every little thing that that call is now second nature.
Yeah.
Right. And so now you basically reprogrammed yourself. That's what you did. Because I tell my salespeople all the time, right? Listen, it's natural. It's human nature to go to the negative. So it's not like you're a negative person. It's just human nature, right? Like, I'll give you guys an example right now. When you're driving in your car, what's that thing at every intersection that hangs from the sky on the cord?
Traffic lights.
Huh?
Traffic lights.
Okay, what is it, Chief?
Say that one more time.
What's that thing? What's that light that hangs from the electrical wire at every intersection?
Traffic light.
Most people say stoplight.
The stoplight.
Right?
The stoplight's included.
Yeah. Right. Most people say stoplight. But
I get what I think I know where you're going.
But it's also a go light.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, most people say stoplight because they think about like every time they have to stop at it. So it's human nature, man. And I love what you're doing, man. Like, I love that. Like, that should actually just inspire me to be 100% honest with you. And the way we respond, the way Chief and I responded, is a byproduct of not doing what you're doing intentionally. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens. That's what happens. You go to a default. That's my default reaction. What you got? Your now default reaction is what I got.
You see what I'm saying? You know one thing that's helping me, and I wonder if y'all out there can relate, or anybody listening. I got it bad from my mom. I identified this right after. my mom is the type where growing up and subconsciously, I don't even think she realized she did it until I brought it up to her like probably a year and a half ago. My mom was always the type where I come into my mom's a hair braiding salon. I come into her shop, haven't seen her in a minute, she'd be like, so what's going on? And I may be like, I landed a performance on this TV show, or I got this contract, this writing contract. And it was always, but is this going to lead to something? It was always like, okay, but is it going, and that programmed me to always kind of, I always had to feel like I had to, the accomplishment wasn't enough because there was a but coming. And the but was always for me like a no. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, I got a deal here. Okay, that's cool, but is it going to make you $10,000? No. You know what I mean? And so then it brings the whole moment down.
It deflates the accomplishment.
It does. So I think in my head, knowing how that's been programmed in my head, I've kind of been trained to do that. I don't want to be like that anymore. And I could see little bits of it showing up in my parenthood. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not to the extent of a but it's like giving them something to consider and think about on top of whatever it is they presented to. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. So I think that's part of the reason too, why I'm like, I'm about to celebrate every fucking thing. And if it just doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I was happy until I got declined. You know what I'm saying?
No, I love it, man. And that was at the point I was going to bring up, is it is going to show up in our parenting. How Chief and I respond will show up in our parenting. Period. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing that anybody can say. It will.
And to your point, P, like, I think with that same token of showing up in parenting, like I've framed it as dreaming bigger. So we still celebrate the victory, but it's like, listen, I still want you to dream bigger. You know what I'm saying? However I word it, I do that, but I think it's enveloped, or it's enveloped with keep dreaming, dream bigger. There is more. Like, let's celebrate. You won it. I'm so proud of you, but keep going. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? But I do make it a point. It's crazy because, again, for other people, like for my kids, we celebrate the smallest thing. And it's as little as, like, these memes, again, I'm talking about it, but like, it was like, when your son comes up to you and the baby's like, Daddy, look, and he's throwing the ball, and he's just like, listen, to him, that's brand new. Mm-hmm. He just realized he could throw this ball, and you got to celebrate that for him. But to us, it could be annoying, or like, baby, I know, like, Daddy, kids jump, Daddy, look, and they jump in the pool, no dive, no nothing, belly flop. But to them, it's a big deal, and we have to make it a point to celebrate that. And I think we have to P's point, be more conscious of taking those opportunities and celebrate it when it comes to us. Because in relation to what you were saying about your mom's,
exactly,
my mom was the same way, except it wasn't it was the I'm so proud, because my mom's like, anything I do, like, she's just to the moon, over the roof.
Yeah, mom's
anything that I do, but it's still like, what's next? Almost like, that's so dope. That's so dope. So where are we going from here? But it's not it doesn't have that negative connotation, but it's still kind of like, oh my God, really? What's next? Well, where are we going then? Like, what I'm saying? She's expecting that this parlay into bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's all part of it, right? It's like, I don't think that you stop doing that, but I think what we maybe can do better at is just being in the moment.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and the first time that somebody checked me on being in the moment, I had my best game of my college career at that point. I rushed for 166 yards against North Carolina State, and had, Mario Williams, Phillip Rivers, all it was, and we should have won. We were tied and lost at the last second. But anyway, so we lost. So I had that burden. And then my old high school coach called me. Shout out to Coach Cordo. Cordo called me and was like so happy for me, like just over the moon, like super happy. And I'm like, yeah, coach, but we got Kent State next week. He was like, yeah, but today you celebrate, right? He's like, today you celebrate today, right? Don't worry about Kent State. Like, you had a phenomenal game. You made us all proud. You know what I'm saying? Like, that game, and the game was on TV. He's like, so you need to celebrate today. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we miss. Because again, dude, if you think about this, man, like think about the psyche, the psyche portion of this, right? Why don't we celebrate? Right? Why isn't that enough? Think about it. Right? Why isn't that moment right there? Why is that not enough? Because here's what I know. Here's what I know. At one time, right? Whatever this is, at one time, what that is was enough.
Yeah.
Right? If I just get right there, if I just get right there, man, I'm good. We good. And you get right there. And then it's like, yeah, but if I was just right here though.
So you know what it is? I know what it is. I think I know one of the reasons we adapt this hustler mentality, right? We adapt this grind mentality, and what is it taught to us while we're watching these people we admire grind, when we're looking at how to get it done and figure it out? They don't talk about all the little nuances that come with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't talk about that spot where you do have to encourage yourself and celebrate that accomplishment without looking at what's next, because there's always a what's next. But if we don't program ourselves to be, like you were saying, Bell, in the moment, we're always going to be searching for the fucking moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're always going to be looking for the moment, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying your fucking moments. They help with the bad times.
Yeah.
If I celebrate 5 small victories and I have one bad shit, it's easier for me to deal with that shit because I've been celebrating.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Sure. So let me ask a question, fellas. Real quick. Do you think you would celebrate yourself more if so? Kind of like what we just did with Oz. Like, we went out and allowed him and like encouraged him to celebrate himself. So for example, let's go take it back to the football, Bell. You score, a big game, you scoring touchdowns, and you're happy about it, and regardless of Kent State or whatever, is it more impactful for you when you get to celebrate while, like, if your parents are there and they see you score? Does it now give you more motivation to celebrate you, or does it not make a difference? So better yet, when like Bell and I played college football like around the same time. So we barely got to see each other play because we were both playing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the one game that he ended up making it to, I scored a touchdown. This nigga was late.
Ironically, it was in Boston. That's
right.
The funny thing.
Right. So I scored a touchdown, and they missed, like, they came like literally maybe like they might have been like saying my name over the intercom as they was coming in the gate or whatever, but they missed the play.
And just for the record, too, the most difficult college football stadium to find in the country, but that's neither here nor there.
But so I guess the point was, like, in that moment, I remember like looking for y'all because I knew you were coming, and I think it took away from the celebratory moment in itself because I couldn't share it with my people. So I guess I'm asking you, like, does it mean more like to have your people there, and is that more encouragement to celebrate, or should, like, again, Pete say, should we dial back and learn to take those moments for ourselves, because it happens?
You already know the answer. I don't even think, I know you're asking Bell, my bad, Bell, but that's not even like that's like apples and oranges. Like, the answer is you need to celebrate yourself, but it still can be more impactful to you if you got your people in the. I'm not trying to tell Bell what the answer is. I'm just, never mind, let me shut up.
No, I know what I'm going to say regardless of what you're going to say.
No, I think it was all just rhetorical, I guess. But
but I
just don't. For me, like, I think I'd be more inclined just to like to really enjoy that moment because I get to share it with somebody else.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
You're programmed to be that way.
Yes, right? Yes. However, bro, I need help, right? Like, I can tell you right now, like, I know I have trauma. I'm thinking back as we're talking, like, dude, I bought my first house when I was 23. I had no emotion, right? No emotion about it. But the reason why I feel I didn't is because I talked about it. But again, just like we talked about, I talked about it for so long. I'm gonna buy a house. My mom was like, I'm gonna buy my mama house, buy my mama house, buy my mama house. So I convinced myself that it was already done. Like, I convinced myself that I already paid for that shit. But so when I got it, when I actually signed it, it was like anticlimactic because in my head I already had it. Now everybody just gets to enjoy it, but I already had it in my head. You know what I'm saying? So everybody was all excited for me, but I was like, man, whatever, you know. But I'll explain now. For me right now, celebrating, dude. For me, it's a deep-rooted fear of loss situation. For me, you know what I'm saying? Like listen, man, we all been there. I done been fucked up before. You know what I'm saying? Like financially. So for me, it's like, and I ain't never going back there. You know what I mean? Ever. So when listen, man, my company took care of us a couple of weeks ago in a major way. You know what I'm saying? And even that, I'm like grateful, very grateful, very, very grateful. But I'm not talking about it like that. Like I bought myself one pair of shoes with that money that I got, right? And one pair of shoes, and I got some, it was good. They took care of me. And but that was it. And I moved on. Didn't talk about it no more. Like whatever. But for me, it's like, nah, you gotta keep going. You want to be broke again? Oh, you want to be broke. Oh, you bragging, so you must want to be broke. You want somebody to come take this, right? And again, that's not reality. It's not, right? But it's in the back of my mind. And it's crazy because even talking about that shit is making me emotional right now. So, but like in the back of my mind, that's kind of there.
But you kind of wired like me though in that regard, because we spoke about that and we was cool about it. And then where did the conversation drift to though, Bell? Do you remember where it drifted to?
I'm handing out all these checks to my people and I'm super excited.
So it drifted from, oh, I got this, and that's cool. But man, these people in my office about to be hype. I got checks for everybody.
Right.
Like that's what he was real hype about. Rather than be like, yo, you just got a bag, bro. Like,
right.
I mean, like,
let me give you a suggestion, Bill. I'll tell you what I did after I bought Sarai's ring, man. So on my birthday.
And by the way, I know I feel like I commented on the post, but man, nigga, you did a good ass job, boy. You did a good job. You did a good job.
Well, let me tell you exactly what I did, because it's part of the point. On my birthday, I told her that I wanted to go look at jewelry, knowing that I had just, I came up, man, and I was ready to make it happen. So I told her that I wanted to look for jewelry, and I went in, found the ring she wanted, and a week later I bought it. So I've been sitting on it for months.
You had that shit for months?
But bro, I didn't have the ring on me though. I couldn't. Her mama was like, "Don't get that ring," because I suck at secrets. So it was there. It had to get fitted. I had to go back and do a couple of alterations.
I was about, you better than me. I had my shit.
Bro. So,
I had my shit for 24 hours and almost gave it to her just cause.
Hey man, I almost fucked the whole thing up, man. She found like 4 racks in my wallet randomly and was wondering what that was for, and I was like, fuck. So it was all. But my point is, after I bought her ring, a week later, I went, and I spent like $1,300 on shoes. And I bought myself a whole new winter wardrobe. What I didn't think about was what this was going to look like to a woman who had no idea I just bought her wedding ring and I had some residual. And to celebrate the fact that I bought her the ring she wanted, a fucking 3-carat ring that she wanted and had money left over, the fact that I accomplished that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy myself a whole new winter wardrobe, and I'm a shoe addict. I've never had this much extra money. I'm going to just go crazy on shoes. And I can tell you every day since I did that, I feel like I have a new pair of shoes. I feel good. I feel confident in my clothes. Whether I'm picking up my children or having to run errands, I'm feeling good about what I have on and how I look. It's helping with my confidence, but I treated myself, bro.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Which we don't do enough either.
Maybe what you need to do is start buying yourself one pair of shoes every time it is, so that you get used to the feeling of doing something for you.
Treat yourself.
If I turn this camera around, my whole back wall line with sneakers.
Hey, but there ain't nothing wrong with adding more sneakers. I'm gonna always tell you that.
No,
but
man,
you know what I'm saying? Just the point, but like you got to get used to having some shit for yourself and celebrating that shit.
I couldn't agree with you more. I don't implement it, but I 1,000,000% agree with you. Like,
so we got to talk about implementation though.
Yeah. No, I'm not. You're not wrong. But again, right? So it's this Omega watch that I want, and I was about to buy it a couple months ago. I'm like, nah, let me wait. I bought myself like an intermediate watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice watch, but nowhere near as expensive, but very nice watch. And I'm like, I said when I get my bonus, I'm a cop. And then I didn't do that. And then I found out that they doubled our bonus. So I'm like, I definitely need the cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, we got to make sure we get this house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So let me just store this. Let me stash this away. You know what I'm saying? And it's all to our point though. It's always going to be something, right?
Yeah.
It's always going to be something that we there's a term for it, man, and I can't think of what it's called, but like it's basically what it means is we delay our gratification for somebody else's, right? Or we put somebody else's before ours. And again, it may go back to worthiness, it may go back to, you know, what you feel you deserve or whatever the case. But no, I love what you did, man, because you do have to celebrate yourself, man. And you know, you being able to do that, forget the money that you got to do that, your ability to be able to afford that, right? That's
right, exactly.
Like that's a celebration, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what it was. And what I learned from that was, ever since I purchased that it put me in a totally different ball game, mentally, financially too. It motivated the hunger, because now I'm starting to see things that I wasn't able to touch and put my hands on before.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when it comes to celebrating ourselves, sometimes, and I think like for you, it may be the Omega watch, but you may get the watch and realize that that's not really how I want to spend my bread.
Right.
But you got it. And so this is what I'm learning now, like getting to different places and brackets, you got to explore that plateau and that area that you're in now to know what fits for you in this chapter of life.
You know what? I'm gonna sum that up, Prentice, by saying you got to live in it.
Exactly. The moment. We were talking about the moment.
You got to live in it. You got to live in it, man. And that's what I don't think we do. We're not living in it.
And I think what you need to do when you buy this next crib, when you buy this next crib, you need to do the opposite of what you did when you were 23. You know what I'm saying? So whatever that entails with bail now, you need to allow yourself to have that moment, bro.
Listen, man.
Freedom.
Buying real estate in Boston, whoever live out here, they know what time it is, man. We celebrate this bitch, man.
All right.
All right. This
and I'm gonna call you again, and you're gonna need to be more hype.
Listen, man, buying property out here is not for the faint of heart, boy. I tell you that much, man. You gotta be ready. Like, this shit, it's like, you know, just like the Bay, man. It's crazy. Well, not like the Bay, because the Bay is stupid, but it's ridiculous. It's right up there, man. It's right up there. Put it this way. Lorraine be watching Selling Sunset or whatever those reality, you know, real estate shows are, and then there's not as much sticker price shock anymore. Like when I was living in Connecticut, I'm like, God damn, how do you afford that? Now I'll be seeing that. I'm like, oh, all right, that makes sense.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, man. Your whole perspective be changing, man.
And you got to think, you know, we talk about blocking blessings, and a lot of times we look at that in the aspect of getting in the way of something we can have. But sometimes blocking blessings is not acquiring some of the things you can have. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
I'll take it one step further. Sometimes blocking blessings is not celebrating what you do have.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. It's like Chief. You ain't on the bed. You ain't on the floor no more.
Nah.
I think the last podcast you had just got rid of all the furniture in the crib.
Yeah, I'm leveled up. I've got all my stuff back. I'm good.
Look, but you had to purge, right? You had to empty the crib to make room for the new shit.
Right.
Yeah, I slept on the couch the other night. It's actually pretty comfortable.
Okay, you got a legit couch out there now. All right.
Yeah,
and the little ottoman jump off, so you can stretch out over.
You got an ottoman on it, bro.
Nah, he got a full size ottoman. Like the ottoman is length of the couch. Like I call that a cushion cot. Like,
nah, word. But no, that's like, you know what's crazy is that from the most minute detail, people celebrate it. Because you're right. I emptied the crib And I have brand new furniture in my crib right now, and didn't take a chance to be like, yo, like, all right.
You got brand new furniture. The kids got brand new furniture. You know what I'm saying? Like
every room in the house is brand new furniture.
But you know what happens? Oh, this is so good. Prentice, this goes back to what you were saying. All that stuff happens simultaneously with you crashing your truck or somebody crashing into you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy to focus on all that bullshit that you dealing with.
The joint flooded, the other car you got.
Right. Yeah, right. I know what I'm saying. So like the day before, or like maybe a couple of days after I emptied the crib out and had put the purchase in to get the other stuff was gonna be delivered, I get a car accident. Do hit my car. So it's like, instead of being like, yo, you just got a house full of new furniture, I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? I gotta get another rental car. And for me, that was light because that's not really something I put my energy in, but it's still something to divert your energy to.
100%.
Yep. And had you been training yourself, I think a little to appreciate the new shit in the crib, you may have, depending on how much training you get. This is what I'm learning from experience. So when I'm speaking, I'm just speaking on what I've identified with me. It may have been easier to deal with the car accident. You get what I'm saying?
So I say that, P, because I'm sure you get this by my personality. The car accident, like I literally got into an accident and laughed. I was laughing like, yo, this is just comical at this point. So the car accident wasn't really much, but it was still enough to overshadow all the good that was going on. You know, it wasn't. I didn't stress over it because I knew what the routine: get car insurance, get a rental, blah 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 blah. But it still was enough for me to block out all the stuff I had put in all the work to do at the crib.
Yep. And labor intensive enough to take your mind off of it. Right. Like, you're not emotionally drained by it, but there's some tasks involved in that. Right. It's not as simple as like, I crashed and they drop off a car. No, you got to do police reports. You got to do all of this. You got to do all of that. So,
man. Hey, look, I'll tell you what I've been doing the past week, right? Like, I mean, blessings on blessings, bro. We got a new car that should be here hopefully next month, coming in from fucking Germany. A new whip. We ain't never done that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Never. So in the meantime, you know, because it's a delay on the car, we got rid of one car because we thought the Benz was going to be here already, but it's not. So we've been on a rental, right? So last week, Sarai pull up in a drop top Stang. And I'm like, where do you get this from? But listen, I ain't never drove no convertible, so I've been driving the convertible every night. You know what I do? My happy moment, I go down into the garage, I drop the top in that car, and I smoke a joint sitting in the driver's seat. Why? Because the car ain't gonna smell like weed. Right. That's my little happy moment. You know what I'm saying? While we got this drop top Stang, I'm about to take full advantage. You can call me corny. You can say I look like you can say whatever the fuck you want. This is my piece of happiness that I found for this moment in time. And when that shit's gone, then I'm gonna find something else.
Right.
That's dope.
We gotta find the little things, man. We got to.
And that's monumentally important to the most minute detail. So what can we do, fellas? Like, you know how people wake up and they got their positive affirmations and stuff like that. Like, how do we translate this into something like that? Or do we make it a point to find something to celebrate every day?
Yes.
And I think we challenge ourselves to remind ourselves and everybody listening that during this process, you're going to feel like the fucking Grinch at times because you're not used to celebrating shit. So depending on how you handle it, you may be really on some bah humbug type shit. That's part of the process. So you can't, when you feel that resistance, that's part of the growth trying to work and happen. So don't forget about that shit when it happens.
This is so crazy because I remember at one point, like, I'm so mentally wired to like find the positive in the day, but it's not the same as being able to celebrate. Remember, Bell, when I was getting up every morning, like trying to leave positive quotes on the way to work every single morning. Like, yo, don't worry about what's going on. You're going to be good. Today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, but in my mind, because that wasn't for you.
What you mean?
I was encouraging everybody. No, it was because I was, even now, like I ain't had a bad day in a long time.
No. I'm not saying you didn't get something from it. I'm saying you were attempting to be the catalyst to brighten up somebody's day. Right, while you know you feeling fulfilled from that too. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the same as you celebrating a win for your son.
No, right.
Sometimes
sure.
it's a supplement.
And that's my point. Like, even with me being so wired and intentional about finding the positive in the day, there's a difference between finding the positive and celebrating the win, and you know what I'm saying, and celebrating that. Because like I said, I haven't had a bad day in a long time. It's been a couple moments here and there, like, even with the accident, like, oh, I just came from my man's wedding. That felt great. I'm good. I'll get a new car, whatever.
Yeah.
And it didn't ruin my day. You know what I'm saying?
It also, what happens is, man, it's all relative, right? You recalibrated your mind on what a good or bad day is, right? Because with somebody who may not be in that same mental space, right? Like, and this maybe they'll say they haven't had good luck, right? The most minute thing can happen, and that's where they'll default to. Oh, here we go again. It's another messed up day, another messed up situation. But if you've calibrated your mind to be like, nah, like my day is gonna be great. It's like something happens, you're like, oh, this was confirmation right now that I know my day is gonna be great because it started off like this, so it can only get better. You know what I'm saying? It's all mental. Like, it's a mindset, how you choose to, you know what they say, like, you can't control what people do to you. All you can do is control how you respond.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what it is.
I think I've become great at that shit.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of
responding. But I think we can all agree that, and this is actually good and cool because it comes full circle, where Prentice in this regard is way ahead of you and I, Chief.
Way.
Right? In terms of how he chooses to celebrate everything. Whereas even shit we're supposed to celebrate, we're not celebrating. You see what I'm saying? So this goes back to like standards and accountability. Like, yeah, let's get intentional about this. Like you did. Prentice did the work, right? Like he did the work on getting intentional for a long enough period of time where it's no longer him being intentional, it's just him being him.
That's what's tripping me out. That's what's tripping me about that shit. Like that moment when I called y'all and you bringing that up, I've been tripping on it since you said it because I'm tripping out. Like I just had to stop myself. I was about to say I'm not like that. You get what I'm saying? It's almost as if I still want to keep myself where I previously was and say, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. But clearly, as you're saying, I did some type of work. So even when you do accomplish it and your boys are acknowledging it, you can still be like, I'm tripping off of because I'm not like that. We all the same. You know what I'm saying? No. So I think you have to have like a circle around you as well, or like a support group to kind of highlight those little moments when you may not be able to identify them or give them to yourself too, you know, because it's hard doing that shit by yourself.
But real quick before I forget my thought, write this down. Why are we so reluctant as Black men? Let's think about this, to let go of our old self.
Oh, nigga. Right? Okay, we'll save that for.
That's why I said write it down. That's why I said write it down, because as you said that, I'm like, yo, he's spot on, right? Like you in a safe environment right now, and you was reluctant to say that. You see?
Yeah, and I was about to say, like, I'm not like that.
Yeah, right. Like, why are we so reluctant to let go of our old self, man, and grow? It's
or
so
acknowledge,
crazy.
Or acknowledge the true change as being something permanent and real.
Yeah.
You know, actually referenced this the last episode, Bell. You were talking about, I think you quoted Jay-Z. Like, what's the quote? Like, people saying you change, and you saying I work this hard to stay the same.
The same, you know, like no, motherfucker.
Yeah. Right. Nah, like, but that's the reality. But those changes can be like, people look at it from like a financial point. Like, yeah, I'm you know, I'm financially changed, so my financial status is different, and that's a change. But no, it's a deeper rooted internal thing, and we all have the capability to grow, to level up in a positive way. And I think the greatest part about this dynamic is that we are not afraid to listen to one another and then acknowledge self and respond. Because think about it, me and Bell responded one way, and P's like, yo, that's whack. And Lowe's like, yo, that's trauma. And we're like, yo, fellas, that's trauma. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But think about it.
No,
you know what I'm saying? We're like, yo, and we're not afraid to have that conversation amongst each other and essentially hold each other accountable. Like, P's like, nah, fuck that. Y'all niggas gonna enjoy this moment. You gonna celebrate this with me. And even though we didn't do it then, we doing it now. We're gonna do it when the ink is dry too.
Because how I look at this specific news, and I can't wait till we can tell y'all, but this specific news, not only did I really need it for myself to kind of feed myself, you know me, I'm working from home and all that shit, and you know, the money come, but it still is an adjustment being at the crib so much. You know what I mean? So I feel like a heightened need to keep accomplishing. And this one wouldn't been possible without y'all two. Mm-hmm. This wasn't an individual accomplishment. You get what I'm saying? But it felt and feels me just like an individual accomplishment. You get what I'm saying? So my niggas, this is me and my niggas who are doing this right now. And this is our podcast. So we ain't got to deal with nobody we don't want to deal with. So I feel like this was a group accomplishment that fed me on an individual level. You know what I'm saying? So I need y'all to be hyped. What's crazy? Again, I'm not even sharing that with y'all. You know what I mean? But I need y'all to know that, like specifically, bro, like we wouldn't have had this news. I wouldn't have this news in my life without y'all.
Right. So and that's another thing that kind of makes me angry in this moment, because I'm super big on celebrating y'all, yo. Like I would like, if y'all called me and told me that this was like, if I wasn't in this and y'all called me and told me this, I'd be dumb hype, like you were when you called, like dumb hype.
Because you're in it, you're not.
And that's the fucked up part about it.
Crazy.
I know we've been going on for a while. We got to wrap this up, but I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this is an episode that we need to do, and I've talked about this. We've all talked about this, but we've never really hit it. And I think, and this is just my opinion, I think a part of our change or reluctance to change or reluctance to give up our old self more than anything is the negative connotation attached to that, right? It's like, oh, you all uppity now, right? Oh, you got this corporate job, right? Oh, you this, you that. Oh, you on TV now, so you too good for us? Nah, bro. Right, but that's where that survivor's remorse comes in. You know what I'm saying? It's like we want to hold. I had this conversation with my boss the other day. Like we want to hold on to a piece of ourselves for like to justify like our authenticity, or to justify like our fabric, right? Like it's like, yeah, man, that's cool, right? Like there's a quote, right? To get something you've never gotten before, you have to become someone you've never become before, or you never became before, right? Or something to that effect, right? And that's the part that there's rub, and especially with Black men, there's rub with that, man, because of, again, the negative connotation. Again, we don't have to talk about that anymore, but that's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, because we haven't, in some cases, as much as we don't celebrate ourselves, a lot of us haven't even learned to celebrate one another.
It's a cycle.
Dude, this shit's so deep. This is why we need to talk more.
It is.
And we can't celebrate one another because we don't appreciate and respect ourselves enough sometimes to see that in us. So we can't see it in you. I can't see it in you. I don't even see it in myself.
Oh my God. Listen, right? somebody's growing from this. Let's stop right. Let's just stop right there.
What I'm saying?
Somebody gotta be, bro, because there's a million more things I could say on it.
Somebody, and that is like profound as hell. If somebody can grow from this, fellas, let's close it out. I got a bunch of notes over here. We're gonna double back on these topics, and we're gonna get deep with them, man. And I pray y'all pull something from this, man, because
you ain't listening if you don't.
Right. Yeah. When we close the episode, we probably gonna be on for another hour just talking about what we need to talk about, because this is powerful. Pete, go ahead. Take us out, man. What's your final thought, man?
Find an accountability partner. I think that's what Chief and I just got from this call, right? We got an accountability partner in Prentice on ways to celebrate things, man. Like we spoke about it earlier in the episode, or before we started recording. You know, we made it a point to celebrate our best friend's birthday, right? Because at times we cannot celebrate our own life because of the people who are not there in our life to celebrate it with us.
Man, goddamn, that's a whole nother subject too.
Right? So we got to find joy in that, man, because I guarantee you, if you ever want to be appreciative, you can drive by any cemeteries. Everybody in there will be willing to trade places with you. No matter how fucked up you think your life is, they'll trade places with you in a second, right? So let's just find ways to celebrate, right? Celebrate, right? Not necessarily you know, find a way to have a good day. Yeah, find a way to have a good day, but find ways to celebrate, like specifically celebrate. So, and have a partner that can help you hold you accountable to that.
Yeah.
Hey.
I would just say that, you know, this growth thing is awkward. This growth thing is challenging. It don't be feeling good, but the results feel great, man. So, you know, as far as what we talked about today, I would just really say it's okay to acknowledge the trauma, but if you're really trying to do this and learn how to celebrate yourself, find a couple of people who can support you in that. You got 1,000 people you probably follow on Instagram or who probably follow you. Create a little DM chat group or something where y'all just do little shit that you've never done before, like say good job about things that you may think other people feel are mediocre, you know what I mean, or small potatoes. So just really get familiar with smiling and celebrating yourself however you got to do it. And don't compare it to anybody else's form of celebration. Just yours. Find your niche within celebrating yourself.
True that. For me, I think I'll just say growth is an intentional process, and it's inevitable if you're dedicated to it.
Boom.
If you're dedicated to growing, it's gonna happen, but you gotta be willing to dig deep.
Yeah.
And you gotta be willing to have these, and this isn't necessarily a difficult conversation, but it's an acceptance of reality that you got to sit back and go, wow, I really was behaving that way. I don't want that for myself anymore. Learn from your homies, talk to your homies. And if they, you know, if they ain't leveling up, then you don't be afraid to check them. But I think for me, it's more about, and we would have never recognized it was a traumatic response had Belle's wife not said anything, but we would never having this conversation had Belle had not had enough wherewithal to go, you know what? The fellas need to hear this. Like, I need to, you know, so I think it's important to recognize that.
But that's, and not to cut off, you
go
off.
ahead.
Thought.
I had another thought. That's why I was going. Go ahead.
I think it's important for you to surround yourself with different people. Think about this. If Prentice wasn't in our life, P, that would have been normal for us. Right? We wouldn't have thought nothing of it. Mm-hmm. Because for those of you who are in relationships, you'll learn this. You can't coach your spouse. Right? So Lorraine, that's not the first time she said I have a trauma response to good news. But it wasn't until Prentice said something to me, and she then reiterated it, that I felt the need to bring it up. Because if it was just you and I, Chief, that would have been normal behavior. Because we
would have thought nothing of it.
Nothing. It would have been like, yeah, this is how you respond. But you bring somebody else in, right? Then you get different perspective. So you also have to we all have to do a better job of surrounding ourselves with different people, right? There's a quote that says, in 5 years, you'll be exactly who you are today. The only thing that'll be different are the books you read and the people you meet.
Right.
Right. So
can we make it a point that once the ink is dry, we find a way to celebrate that win together?
Oh, we're gonna celebrate it when we go to Jersey.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's what we're gonna do.
What?
Yeah.
We're about to what?
We're gonna make a big deal.
Let's go buy some suits or something, yeah.
Shit, man. Listen, man.
Let's go get some nice suits.
Don't threaten me with a good time, brother.
Word.
You already know, man. I'm there.
Listen, this is gonna be dope. So, yo, fellas, we have no choice at this point. We got a couple more weeks, but after that, we have no choice but to be consistent because of the good news. We have no choice. You know what I'm saying? We got. Listen. Side note, y'all gonna really be. I hope y'all really hype for us with this good news, man, because this is dope. Nevertheless, we'll share that with y'all as soon as we can. Per usual, man, hit us up at allblackmenneedtherapy@gmail.com on all social media outlets at All Black Men Need Therapy. And again and again and again, do us all a favor and hug a black man today.
Do us all a favor, hug a black man today.
And tomorrow.
We
out, y'all.
Do it.
Oh, man.